You hold the keys to your future. Words coming out of somebody else's mouths can influence you, but ultimately you hold the keys. I realized this not so long ago, and I wish I'd known it earlier, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. I was never encouraged to feel empowered to figure out what my future could be. You see, all I ever knew growing up was my dad was a mechanic. I always thought I had to follow in my dad's footsteps. So I went to college, I learned about mechanics. Back then, there was like this resistance. I was like thinking, surely there's something else to life than copying what your dad does. Because I could see he was never really happy. He picked up injuries, and that made me question, is this the right path? I found positivity in fitness instead of going down a potentially dark path. Some of my friends chose a darker path, and there was just that feeling of something was gnawing away at me, saying that there's more to life than this. Because you have to understand, when I was, say, between the ages of 10 to 14, I was football mad. I had nothing else on my mind other than playing football with my mates. My parents did the best with what they had at the time. We were fairly on the breadline. We didn't have money, but we also weren't overly poor. I mean, there were difficult times for sure, but I found solitude, I found growth, I found an escape through fitness. Like, I was always out on my bike, running, walking everywhere, playing football. So I was always fit. I used to love swimming as well. And that developed because I understood what it meant to escape but feel good afterwards. So I turned away from the drugs and the alcohol, and I realized that they didn't actually make me feel good. It made me feel sick. As I got older, the less and less chance I had of making it as a footballer. I found strength in growing muscle and testing myself. And I didn't even realize I was doing it until, the last few years looking back. I stayed fit, and I still had this, growing up, this feeling of like, there's got to be more to life. I remember 18, 19 thinking, what's my future going to look like when I'm 28, 29, when I'm going into my 30s? Most people live in quiet desperation. Most people are still plugged into the matrix. Most people are still encouraged to go to school, get an education, and go to a 9 to 5 job and go on a few holidays and then retire if you're lucky at 65. I thought about that process so often in the last 10 years. I was like, there's no way I'm going to stay stuck like that. Because I see it happen with my parents. I had this entrepreneurial mindset. I remember one of my aunties giving me a bag full of these old Nokias, and I made 2 of them work. I don't know how I did it. I used to like taking my bike apart. I used to wash cars every now and again. I also used to sell sweets in school. 31 now, and thinking back on those times when I was a teenager, I had this Del Boy entrepreneur mindset to go and make money because I see my parents struggle. I feel blessed that I do think that way. It's doing the hard stuff every day and not reaching for what's easier has kept me on that path. This is why I do my personal development and my fitness. I know that there's a path to all of this that takes you to a level of greatness, that living in the matrix, living below surface level, low energy, low vibration can't take you. Not everyone's going to catch this, but if you do what's hard, you are handed the keys by the universe. Waking up early every day, before you reach for any type of stimulant, before you reach for any type of stimulant, rehydrating your body, taking your supplements, reading, journaling, listening to positive affirmations or positive music on YouTube, giving yourself an hour before you reach for your phone, before you reach for the coffee, the energy drinks. There's a level of discipline that most people can't fathom. But I do it because that has really put me on the straight and narrow. And I know for a fact with my own personality, I have an addictive personality. If I don't have that anchor, that routine, I'm going to just start living again below surface level. And I've been there. It's not nice. Rewarding your brain with so much dopamine that it doesn't actually deserve it when you know you haven't done enough. But life seems to push people towards doing those vices. I don't want that for my family. I know that through the hard work, it's going to put me on a path of greatness, living above surface level, sticking your chest out every day, walking with your back up straight, walking into a room with confidence because you know who you are. I come from nothing. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me fueled, is sharing our business with people, because I know with financial education, cheaper travel, fitness, supplements, the best of the best, skincare products making you look good and feel good. On top of that, the mentorship, the networking, the community, the events, it raises people's vibrational levels with what we do. I wouldn't have attracted that energy into my life had I lived below surface level and stayed plugged into the matrix. What we have allows people to grow and quit their 9 to 5 job eventually and build a business from it. One where you don't have to wear multiple hats pay thousands of dollars a month for it, or loads of paperwork and hiring and firing people. This business is beautiful. If you're watching this now, I'm hoping that you're developing a level of discipline that's going to open your mind to new opportunities and try different things instead of working for the next 40, 50 plus years to retire on a pension that you can't even afford to live on. The world is changing and we need to make money in our own way. And this is what this business gives to people. Understand that you can hold the keys to your future, realize the power of what it can do for you, because there's no, it will force you to grow.